Barriers to experiencing oneness. While the concept of oneness is a profound and unifying idea, there are several barriers that prevent us from fully experiencing and embracing it. These barriers often stem from deeply ingrained thought patterns, cultural conditioning, and societal influences that create the illusion of separation. Understanding these obstacles is the first step toward overcoming them and cultivating a deeper sense of connection with ourselves, others, and the universe. The illusion of separation. One of the greatest barriers to experiencing oneness is the illusion of separation. We often see ourselves as distinct individuals, separate from everyone and everything else. This perspective is reinforced by our physical senses, which perceive the world in terms of individual objects and people. Examples. Sense of individuality. From a young age, we are taught to think of ourselves as separate beings with our own identities, achievements, and possessions. This sense of individuality can make it difficult to see beyond our personal concerns and recognize the interconnectedness of all life. For example, we might focus on our own success or happiness without considering how our actions affect others or the environment. Cultural and social conditioning. Societies and cultures often emphasize competition, comparison, and division, reinforcing the idea that we are separate from others. For instance, we are frequently encouraged to compare our lives, achievements, and appearances to those of others, leading to feelings of superiority or inferiority. This mindset creates barriers that prevent us from recognizing our shared humanity and the deeper unity that connects us all. Ego and its role in dividing us. The ego plays a significant role in creating and maintaining the illusion of separation. It is the part of us that identifies with our thoughts, beliefs, roles, and personal experiences. The ego constantly seeks to define who we are in relation to others, often by emphasizing differences and creating a sense of us versus them. Examples. Defensiveness and competition. The ego thrives on competition and the need to be right. It often leads us to defend our opinions and beliefs, even at the cost of our relationships. For example, in a disagreement, instead of seeking to understand the other person's perspective, the ego pushes us to prove that we are right and they are wrong. This behavior creates conflict and further reinforces the illusion of separation. Judgment and criticism. The ego loves to judge others based on their actions, appearance, or lifestyle. This judgment separates us from others by creating a sense of superiority or inferiority. For instance, when we judge someone for their behavior or choices, we place ourselves in a position of moral authority, seeing them as less than or different from us. This prevents us from recognizing our common humanity and shared experiences. Overcoming judgments and differences. Overcoming judgments and seeing beyond differences is crucial for experiencing oneness. This requires us to let go of our preconceived notions and biases, which often serve as barriers to connection and understanding. By shifting our focus from what divides us to what unites us, we can begin to experience a deeper sense of unity. Examples. Practicing non-judgment. One way to overcome judgments is to consciously practice non-judgment in your daily interactions. This means observing your thoughts and reactions without immediately labeling them as good or bad. For example, if you encounter someone whose beliefs or lifestyle differ from yours, instead of dismissing or criticizing them, try to approach the situation with curiosity and openness. Ask yourself what you might learn from their perspective or what experiences have shaped their worldview. Finding common ground. When we focus on our similarities instead of our differences, it becomes easier to connect with others on a human level. For instance, even if you disagree with someone on a particular issue, you can still find common ground in shared values like love, kindness, or the desire for happiness. By recognizing that we all have similar needs and desires, you can bridge the gap that divides you and open the door to greater empathy and understanding. Letting go of labels and stereotypes. Labels and stereotypes are another significant barrier to experiencing oneness. We often use labels to categorize people based on their race, religion, gender, nationality, or social status. These labels create divisions and reinforce the illusion of separation by emphasizing differences instead of commonalities. Examples. Challenging stereotypes. To overcome this barrier, It's important to challenge stereotypes and question the assumptions you make about others. For example, if you find yourself making a snap judgment about someone based on their appearance or background, pause and ask yourself whether your assumptions are based on facts or simply on preconceived notions. This practice helps you see the individual beyond the label and recognize their unique humanity. Seeing beyond the physical, labels often focus on the physical or superficial aspects of a person, such as their job, status, or appearance. Embracing oneness requires looking beyond these external factors to see the true essence of the individual. For instance, instead of defining someone solely by their profession or social role, try to understand their passions, values, and what drives them. This deeper understanding fosters a sense of connection and unity. The fear of vulnerability and opening up to others. A significant barrier to experiencing oneness is the fear of vulnerability. Opening up to others and allowing ourselves to be seen can be intimidating because it involves revealing our true selves, including our weaknesses and insecurities. This fear can prevent us from forming genuine connections and experiencing the deeper sense of unity that comes from authentic relationships. Examples: fear of rejection. Many people hesitate to open up to others because they fear being judged, rejected, or misunderstood. For example, you might avoid sharing your true thoughts and feelings in a group setting because you're worried about what others might think. This self-protection mechanism creates a barrier that keeps you isolated from others, reinforcing the illusion of separation. Building trust in relationships. Overcoming the fear of vulnerability involves building trust in your relationships and creating a safe space where both you and others feel comfortable being yourselves. For example, when you take the risk to share your own struggles or fears with someone, it often encourages them to do the same. This mutual openness and honesty can lead to a deeper connection, where both of you feel seen, heard, and accepted. Summary: the barriers to experiencing oneness include the illusion of separation, the ego's role in dividing us, judgments, labels, stereotypes, and the fear of vulnerability. These obstacles prevent us from recognizing our interconnectedness and keep us isolated in our own individual experiences. By understanding these barriers and actively working to overcome them through mindfulness, non-judgment, open-heartedness, and vulnerability, we can move closer to a state of oneness where we see ourselves as part of a greater whole. Embracing this perspective fosters deeper connections, greater empathy, and a more meaningful sense of unity with all of life.